Let's move on with a look through the international press with Diptyka Laurent. Hi there, Dipty.
Hi, Kat.
We're actually going to be starting off with one of the top stories in the papers today. Many of them had sort of put their front pages to bed before the apparent attack happened in Berlin. So a lot of them headlining on the assassination of the Russian ambassador to Turkey.
That's right. A lot of the papers stateside are actually headlining on the Russian ambassador's murder. Here it is on the front page of USA Today, the U.S. tabloid. Russian ambassador to Turkey fatally shot in Ankara. A similar headline also from the Wall Street Journal. The paper has republished that photo of the gunman that we've seen across many papers this Tuesday. Allegedly, he was shot by a Turkish policeman. There you see him. He shot dead. Andrei Karlov, Moscow's ambassador to Turkey, in cold blood at an art exhibition opening in Ankara.
Some ethical questions for some people about showing that picture so prominently, but it has been splashed across many front pages around the world.
That's right. And that photo was taken by a Turkish photographer working for the Associated Press. His name is Burhan Özbilici. He was actually on his way home from work on Monday and decided to stop by the exhibition that was actually an exhibition featuring travel photos of Russia. He really wanted to just stop by, take some stock shots of the Russian ambassador for future use. I guess his evening turned out completely differently. In The Guardian, he writes that at first the gunshots seemed like, quote, theatrical flourish. 8 gunshots rang out. There was panic as everyone took cover, including the photographer. But he continued to do his job. He writes, I realized then that a man had died in front of me. Yet it was only when he raced back to his office, he says, to edit his photos that he realized he'd actually snapped the gunman, who he says was standing behind Karlov the whole time he was speaking to the audience. Özbilici says he was standing like a friend or a bodyguard.
Fascinating backstory. What are the Russian and Turkish press saying?
Well, let's look at the Hurriyet Daily, which is the Turkish paper that says Karlov shot in Ankara on its front page. The Turkish paper is actually going with a different picture, but one that's just as striking. There you see the Russian ambassador moments after his death lying there on the floor of that art exhibition hall. Now, the Russian paper Kommersant reports on its front page that the Russian ambassador was gunned down in front of Turkish people and also seeks to sort of disprove the idea that the goal may have been to disrupt, relations between Russia and Turkey. Rather, the paper says this is not the case. Clearly, after the attack, the Turkish and Russian presidents telephoned each other to talk about it.
All right, investigations obviously continuing in Ankara. Let's move on to the other major news story this Tuesday, the apparent, what police believe may have been a terrorist attack in Berlin.
Well, let's take you through some of those headlines, Kat. First of all, the German police have actually opened a hotline urging anyone who may have seen anything to send in cell phone videos and photos to sort of help piece together what's been happening. And there's that tweet that they've posted there. In other German papers, we're seeing, for instance, 20 Minuten, the German version of 20 minutes, that calls it Bloody Monday, a Bloody Monday that sent Germany into mourning. On the front page of Berlin's local paper, the Berliner Morgenpost, they say truck drives into Christmas markets with a photo taken seconds after the attack.
And obviously this caps a deadly year in world terrorism. The method bringing very painful memories back of what happened in Nice on July the 14th.
Well, we looked at Nice Matin, the local paper there this Tuesday. They called it the nightmare in Berlin. In an editorial, the paper says the Berlin attack was a copy-paste of the Nice attack 5 months ago, the goal being to spread panic and terror and defy the police, just like we saw in Nice 5 months ago.
And we've just got a couple of moments left for you to bring us some reactions that have come out on Twitter.
Well, it's quite sad. This has been a year of these sort of tribute tweets. Let's just show you a couple of them. We're seeing a lot of Ich bin ein Berliner, obviously the famous words of President Kennedy. We're also seeing this image, a peace sign in the form of a German pretzel that's being shared on Twitter and Facebook.
All right, we don't seem to have that one, but we do have the Ich bin ein Berliner, such an iconic quote, like you say. Thanks very much, Diptyka Laurent there, looking through international reaction to events in Ankara and Berlin.